In the last 6 months, I have saved and invested over £10,000 compared to just £3,000 from the 6 months before that. And what has caused that difference? Budgeting. Today's video is my February budget check-in, so I'll run through some of my spending in January and then we'll go through how I'm budgeting my income for February. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, then my name's Laura. On this channel, I'm documenting my journey through financial literacy and building long-term wealth for the future. Each month, I budget my income in real time so you can see exactly how I'm doing it and hopefully follow along. So I have built this budget tracker that you'll see in this video. I will be making it available for free very soon. I did want to get my free budget tracker out to you guys sooner, but my life has been really hectic. So both professionally and in my personal life, it's been really busy. So do keep an eye out for it, and then you should see a video going up when the budget tracker is ready. Budgeting has been such a game changer for me. Honestly, I don't really know where my money was going before. I'll put some graphs on the screen just to sort of illustrate what my saving was like before I started budgeting and then after. I used to think that I was really good with money and I would be really happy when I managed to save something each month, but it was always so hectic and unreliable. And having this system and being like, I have to save a certain amount each month, and also just making sure that I'm not overspending as well, has just made everything so much easier. And I'm really happy with how much I've managed to save, and also it's allowed me to start investing as well. So it's honestly just been life-changing for me. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much, so let's just get stuck into my budget for February. So my spending for January was not too bad, but looking at my spending, so I finished the month with £189, and actually this also kind of pulls into account a huge spending. So this miscellaneous spending was actually a new video camera. So I'm filming on a new video camera. The camera I was using was my photography camera. So it was this Canon camera. And while I do photography as a hobby, and I really love taking still photos and taking portraits and taking pictures of people, filming on it was a whole different ball game, and it was just giving me massive anxiety. I also didn't have a tripod for it, so I had it stacked on yoga blocks, and it also had a really short battery time, and it was just giving me so much anxiety and just actually creating such a barrier that I just decided to invest in a camera. The camera wasn't £400, it was about £300, but that's where a big part of my spend came this month. And yeah, in general, I spent a lot more in the wants than what I have done for the past few months, I would say. So just running through, so eating out, a lot of the eating out was casual. I haven't been out for any big meals or anything. It was mostly just grabbing lunch here and there. So I've managed to rein in some of that coffee spend, and not all of this is coffee. Sometimes it's a matcha latte or it's a hot chocolate, but I have managed to pull that in. So I'm going to try and keep that below 50 going forwards. When I was spending £100, it's a bit excessive. I did spend a bit of money on clothes, so I really don't buy that many clothes, and I actually want to get rid of quite a lot of my clothes. So I'm kind of revamping my wardrobe. I want to have better quality items, but just fewer of them. So I'm planning on getting rid of quite a lot of things through charity shop and through Vinted. And yeah, I would say there's not a huge amount that's notable on the rest of my spend. I spent some money on my house. I did spend a little bit more, but I have a sinking fund. So you can actually see in the formula here that I did actually deduct £100. And that's because I brought over £100 from my sinking fund. So I just bought some soft furnishings, some little things. It was a little treat for myself. That's my January spending. I'm going to adjust my spending budget for February and going forward. So I'm actually going to be reducing it so that I can put more into savings and investment. Okay, so let's get into the February budget. I have my tea. I've also got a little bit of dark chocolate here as well. I might be nibbling on. So my salary is $4,533. For those of you that are new here, I work in user experience. I have a really good salary. I'm I say this in all my videos, like I'm really grateful for this salary. It's not something I've always earned. I did used to earn a lot less, and then like less than half. And over the last few years, I like switched industries, and I now work in tech, and the salary increase has been like quite insane. I've also had like a mix of like pay rises and promotions as well. So I had the leftover balance as well. So what I like to do when I've got my leftover balance is pay it into my savings and investments. Now, side income. So I had £100 come in, and this is through bank referrals. So this is where you like refer somebody and then they sign up and then you get a bonus and they get a bonus. And so I had 2 of those. And then I had just 1944, which is from cat sitting. And that was one of the bookings I had over Christmas, and it followed over into January. So just a small amount. And I didn't have any other bookings, cat sitting bookings for January, but I do have some more for February. So this is then the income that I've got to budget out. I'm just thinking maybe I should zoom in. I'm just imagining that like people might be looking at this on their phone and won't actually be able to see anything. So I budget my income. So I split it 50, 25, 25. I'm actually going to be changing that now. So 50% gets allocated to my essentials. So it's my fixed costs. And then my wants, I'm actually changing this. So it was 25. I'm going to see how I go on just 20%. So that's just 20% of my income would be fun money that I get to spend on stuff. And then what I'll be doing is making my future 30%. So that's 30% of my income going into savings and investments. And that means I'll be including all of those. Okay, so I'm going to just add that one and that one and that one. Oh, you would think I don't know how to use spreadsheets. Yes, I do. Okay, so this is how much then I've got to budget. I want to dive into like the saving part first, but I need to get the fixed costs down. So my mortgage doesn't go out on this date, but I'm just going to put this in. So 8, and then I do gas and electricity. So that's £91.86. And so I'm putting these in down here, and then they will auto-populate up here. Council tax. Council tax is 99. It's very expensive being a single person. 14.26. I say this every month. I really need to do something about the phone. Internet is 27. Gym is £45.73. I am considering moving to a bougie gym, which includes one that will include a sauna, but it will mean that I don't then have to pay separately for the sauna. That just makes me sound so bougie, but the sauna is so good for your health. I'm really into like holistic health stuff. Right. Adobe 9. No, it's not 9. It's like $14.99. I forget. So I use Adobe. So my Adobe subscription is because I do photography and I use Lightroom, and I have all my like photos there in the cloud, and they have a really weird subscription model. I don't really like it, and I'm kind of a bit locked into their system. Sorry, I am just wittering away here. This is probably not massively interesting. Right, I think I've got everything covered. Oh yeah, Netflix. Do I have Netflix on here? I do. So I took out a Netflix subscription when I wasn't well one day, and then I've just left it, but I know I can cancel it if I need to, because I've literally just got paid, and I don't have any spend to add in so far this month for transport and groceries, because I literally got paid like about a few minutes ago. So So now we can do my favorite part, which is allocating the savings, saving investments. So I've got 1,668. So my goal this year was to kind of start putting less into my emergency fund and more into my stocks and shares ISA. However, there is something on the horizon to do with my house that is going to be a huge cost. So I'm actually going to continue putting that funneling money into my emergency fund because I will be using that to cover the cost of this particular thing. So I'm just going to say for the time being 500. And I always put at least 100 into my stocks and shares ISA. So I'll just put 100 and then I'll come back to it if I want to. Credit card. So this is a 0% credit card. I just want to clear it. And last month I put £1,000 on it, like as in I paid £1,000 off this card. So I got this card when I was doing some like renovation work. I cleared £1,000 off it. My normal payment is £227, but I'm actually going to start doing £300 a month. And then like once I clear this card, I will have £300 a month. And yeah, it's just will be great. My SIP. So for the SIP, what I want to do is pay in 80% of these two side incomes here. So I'm just going to put in my formula, which will be equals. So 80%. And then we'll do it for this and this. I'm going to put these in brackets because I think that's just going to, yeah. Okay, so that's how much I'll pay into my self-invested personal pension. So I have gone with Invest Engine as my platform for my self-invested personal pension. The reason I did that is because there's no fees. So as much as I like Hargreaves Lansdown, the fees for it were just going to be too high. I'm not paying in a huge amount and it was just going to be eating into it. So I went for Invest Engine and I've invested in an all-world fund. And I do want to actually do videos like tracking this and how this investment like develops over time. Holiday sinking fund, right? So where are we at? Okay, 600. Holiday, I was going to add 100 to this. So yeah, my plan is to go to China. I used to live there. I want to go back and see friends and just have a bit of a revisiting of the country. Original plan was to go in April, but I've got so much stuff going on in my life. It's kind of delayed the planning a little bit. So we'll see, but I'm still just adding money to that fund. House, I normally put 100 in, but I think I might leave it for now. I'll come back to it. Chinese class. So I've just paid my semester. So I started a sinking fund for this and I'm so glad I did because it's about £380 each semester. So I have just paid and I'll be sort of starting all over again with the sinking fund. And they actually gave us a discount for this term. So I actually have £70 left over from my sinking fund. So I actually only need to save £310 over 4 months. So, okay, £77.50 it is. My website. So this is my portfolio website for my day job. And the cost is I have to renew it each year. Just the hosting. So that's the payment for that is going out soon. So I'm starting that sinking fund all over again. Christmas, I'm putting £30 a month. And then I'm also going to put 100 back into hair. And oh, okay, I still have a good amount left. This is nice. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put 200 in there. And okay. Well, I will just put 200 onto the holiday one. What I'm probably going to do, because I've been putting, maybe for the house, because I do still need to do the pair work. And then we'll put the remainder in here. £550. 37 pence. Okay, so that's how I have split up my savings and investments for this month. And yep, completely even. So in my essentials, I've got £455. So that's going to cover my transport and groceries. And that's usually enough. I usually have like a little bit left over. And then I've got £900 for just general spending, and we'll see how that goes. And then if we come into my savings and investments, so this has auto-populated, and that is how much will go into my pension from my salary. And then my employer puts an extra amount on top. So in total, with my employer contribution, I get 1,100 going in, which is great. And this has only been a recent thing. In the past, I just had my head in the sand when it came to my pension. And I created this little table here. This sheet is still a work in progress. When it's ready, then I might also share it. And I just need to update this as well. So I'll add 100. Oh. Add 100 in here, and then this one. So this is just how I keep track of the money going in and out of these. So I keep all of these in a separate savings account. So these are not with my emergency fund, and they're essentially kind of locked away. At the moment, I have them as uninvested cash in my stocks and shares ISA because the interest rate on it is quite good, or it was quite good. I am actually going to shift them elsewhere to something that has a slightly better interest rate. And okay, yep, so I just need to record that this. Yeah, the total amount for this will go out in a couple of weeks, but. And then my hair. So yeah, I really need to get my hair done. And this should be fine for covering. Honestly, like sinking funds as well have just made such a difference. And like for Christmas, just putting £30 back each month feels like nothing. But by the time I get to December, I should have like £400. So that's my budget for February. I may have run through that one a little bit quicker. As I had said at the start of this video, like budgeting has just become it's just been so important for me. I think I've probably become a bit of a bore for my friends because I'm constantly talking about it and like trying to get them into budgeting. I've even set up like a budget and finance chat with my sister and my niece. Like my niece is like in her 20s, and so I'm really trying to get them on board with all of this. And yeah, it's just helped me so much. Like I've got quite a lot of anxiety from like financial instability like much earlier on in my life, and not having any like financial support as well from my family. So I was actually kicked out of home when I was still at school. So I can't really explain the amount of anxiety and trauma that will create. And it's something that has been lingering, the financial instability that I was thrown into at such a young age. And I've had to basically just support myself entirely like throughout my life. And while I have a good job and I've always like strived to like succeed and earn, it was just this thing that was like hovering below the surface. And having a budget has really helped, and it is really helping kind of calm a lot of that anxiety. And yeah, I hope that these videos are useful for people and they can help like other people get on top of their finances. And and if they have anxiety around money, that this can be like one step that might help them overcome some of that. And as usual, as I always say in these videos, thank you so much for everyone who's been supporting and watching and commenting. It's really nice to see like familiar names cropping up as like people are like tuning in regularly and commenting, and like I really appreciate it. And it's really nice just to get to know people like through the lens of my camera. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, then please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.